Okay, we studied about yesterday. We studied about that. I think before insert and after insert. Several tabs. Where is my class size? Where is that? Before insert. We studied about this before insert trigger. Okay, where we have seen that we can make changes on the records and with the means on the same record on which we are working, and then we can also add error if we need to add any error on the record. So we can also add error. And then we studied about that. Where is after? Okay, and then we studied about that after trigger. After trigger is after insert. It means that we don't have to work on the self record on self. We just have to work on the whenever we have to work on the apart from the self record, then we use the after triggers. And since we also know that after insert is a function after insert, so that it will work only when the record is inserted and get committed into the database, then it will be not committed, just inserted into the database, so that ID will generate. Because if you remember that I have tell you that order of execution. Yeah, you remember the order of execution. So that's the thing. So it will after got record get whenever the ID populated in this means after inserted, it will this action will be performed. Okay, so so this is the way. Now today we discuss about the update triggers, before update and after update. Okay, before update trigger and after update trigger. So let's again we come up here and write okay. Now this trigger will run only when the record is updated, not inserted. It's run only when the record is updated. Okay. Updated does not mean that I'm updating here. Just like I'm updating the phone number. Where is my before insert? Remember last time we updating the phone number, something like that. This one. Yeah. So it is not a update statement. It's just a changing the value. We are not updating anything. We are just changing the value. We are just putting the value. Or we can say we are initializing the value. We are not updating anything. It's not a case of an updating anything. So update whenever we forcefully update a record. Whenever means either the in Apex we write the update statement, update contact, update lead, update statement, or we go to the record, hit on edit, and then make changes. So that instance is called as update. Okay, this is not called as update. If I make in the before insert, I make some changes. It's never be called as an update. No, it's not an update thing. Update thing is only whenever either the record is forcefully updated by update statement, which we write an update and then do something, or we open a record or hit edit button and make changes and then save it. So that will call as a update statement. So how we handle the update? Handling the update is quite similar to that how we handle the before, just like that. Yeah, we also got the trigger.new for the new in this instance, trigger.new. Okay, but during the update in the update statement, we also get one more instance called trigger.old. Which is refers that old values. It's a new values. Now, what are old values? That's the important thing. What are old values? We can get it trigger.old. It contains a list of s object which is having old values, and it contains list of s object which is trigger.new, which is means this is contains list of contact which is having new value, and this is contain list of contact which is having old value. Let's put a debug so that you will identify that how it's working. Means what is old value and what is new value. Okay, I save that record. I'm here, and now I'm opening a contact. Okay, so this is the name of the contact. Now I'm changing the name of the contact with Adam. Okay, now what is previously it is written as a Suraj Singh. I changes this contact name to Adam Brown. So what happened? The Suraj Singh, what is the previous value of that thing before the changing? It's the old value, and now I'm changing Adam Brown to. It means that Adam Brown is the new value. Let's say. So in the trigger, logs are generated. Let me open that log, and I hit the debug. So sorry, I need to write a first name or last name. I don't know why it's not. Okay, now it's Adam Brown written. Now I'm making his John Albert. Okay. Now I'm going to save it. So Adam Brown is previously value, and this means Adam Brown is become a old value, and this John Albert will become a new value. Again, logs are creating. I hit this way. Yeah, you can see that on the old value I can got the Adam Brown, and in the new value I can got the uh, John Albert, which I added up here. So the on the trigger when we are working with the update, then we have to think about both things. What is the old value and what is the new value? Okay. Thereafter we are considering the old. There we consider that old means we always have to think about that what is the old value and what is the new value for a record. Always we have to always think about that whenever we have to perform update statement. We have to know that what is its old value and what is its new value, so that we conclude that hey, it is updating, not inserting or something else. So let's work on the how we work with the trigger and using with both old and new values. So let's put some requirement. Suppose let's go to the contact. Suppose yeah, so Suppose since we have designed this thing that if we select phone inquiry, yeah, you remember that discard changes. You remember that we have on the before insert trigger we design a logic that we says that if we have a phone inquiry and if phone is null, then it will throw an error, right? Not saving that. We deactivated that trigger. Before insert. No, we are not adding error. We are just commented out that code. Okay, we are just checking the duplicate. Let's re-enable this code. So now it's throwing me error. Suppose I entered the value, okay, and hit the save. Yeah, and I come to here, and it's a phone inquiry, and I make it empty here, and hit the save. Why it's not? Yeah, hit the save. Now it does not throw any error. Yeah, you can get that it's not throwing in. So it's an issue that means it will generated an issue that why it's not happening because it's a phone inquiry and it's null. So at that time, what you have to do that you have to write a trigger that is that will handle the situation in the update case. So let's design a trigger that what are the requirement that mm, the requirement is when lead source is phone is so when lead source is phone inquiry, then phone number is in required. So at that moment, in this case, what we have to do that uh, similar thing as we done up here, as we have done in here, just like insert case. Yeah, we're doing the same thing. We also need to do on the update case. Means whenever the phone inquiry, it will check and do the update. Okay, same thing means I just put the same thing means whenever the lead source is phone inquiry and phone number is blank, it will and phone number is blank, then it will throw a error on the phone field. Okay, just like we have done in a we have just in the before insert trigger. So let's have a look that if I come up here and edit it and hit the save because phone is blank, so it will throw an error that phone is required. That's correct. But suppose let's put a debugger here. Okay. Suppose this is a this is suppose this is happening. Yeah, I put a debug that into the phone inquiry condition. Okay, I put a debug statement, and now if I look at it here, I save it, it throw an error. Yes, throw an error. I'm checking the logs. Yeah, it's coming to this statement, and let's put some value. I put some value and hit the save. It got saved. Now we have another situation that suppose I come up here and add in the home phone value. 1, 2, 4, 2, and if I at the moment, let me check the logs before that. Yeah, it's coming to the situation because it's coming to the situation checking that phone number have the value. So it's just uh, don't throw the error. So, okay, that's good. Now I come up here and hit the save. Yeah, I do save that, and again come up this log, and then again it's entered into the situation. I'm making changes in the home phone, but our code also run that it's also checking that it's the phone number is valid or invalid. So that's the case. That is not the case that it should always checking that value. Whenever we are making changes in any other field, means I suppose that making changes in here and hit the save. At this time system will again checks that phone condition. So it's not a good thing. Means we are making changes in some other field and still it is checking this field. It's not a good thing. It's not a good way of writing a trigger. So for update triggers, you have to check the field on which we are making changes. Means code will only run if that field if the changes makes made on that field. Okay. So that's some of best practices for trigger where I check. It's only for the trigger. Second, in case of update, do code will only runs for the field on which changes are made. It's quite confusing. Code will run on the field for the fields on which we are on which are doing calculations. Okay. So in update case, the code will run only the fields on which we are doing calculation. We are doing calculation on the lead source and phone field. So code will run only for those two fields. If we are making changes in the if we are making changes on these two fields, only then the code will run. Else the code will not run. So lead source we need to change. We need to sure that lead source is correct, but the phone it should only run when the phone value is got changed. So what we have to do that we need to check that it's the phone value is changed or no. Means someone has make changes in that phone value or no. So for that we need to take a help of a old trigger. Means we need to check a old trigger old value of that phone field. So for that, trigger.old give us a list of old contacts or old values. Similarly, we have an also option available up here. So trigger provide that trigger.old map. Okay, what does it give that? It's in a map of ID comma contact, and this ID is the contact ID, and contact have the old contact values. Here it should be ID and contact. And if you want to get the name, then we have to, what we have to, just since this is in a map, so it will behave as a map. So if you put get on the basis of key, so it will give the values. So its type is a, what type is a contact, so we can get that. So contact dot map dot get contact ID dot name, that's, sorry, first name and last name. Or instead of doing that, just let's put a variable so it not make you confused. Copy that here, control V. So what it will do that it will give me a trigger.old, then get trigger.old is a map. Yeah, trigger.old map is a map, and we do a get, and then we pass a key, and passing a key, what will result? It's result a contact, and what is that contact? That contact has the old values. So we can create this map via this loop also. So since trigger provide that map, so we don't you going to use that. We are not going to create a map for this, because else if we don't create a map, then we have to do a loop in a loop. Yeah. If I need to check that existing value, then I need to again this put that loop from here to here, and then check the value, and it become a loop and a loop. So we need to avoid that loop and a loop. So for that, we need to create a map. But yeah, it's correct. We need to create a map. But since Selfos itself provides some functionality that we can use the trigger.old map that will always give you a ID and that a subject, or here it is a contact. So contact have its old values. So from that I extract out the old contact, and let's take out the first name, and it's not a con, it's become old contact dot last name. Just like we are getting the trigger dot old map, we are also getting the trigger dot new map. And what is the error? Con here. It's not a contact ID. Dot old map dot key set. Oh, forget that we on the map we are writing as a key set of values. So that's a, yeah. And suppose I also need to take out the phone. So let's old contact phone. And similarly, as we are working on the trigger.old map, versus similarly, we have also a functionality called trigger.new map. And it contains, just like old contains old contact values, similarly, the new map contains new contact values. Okay. Now let's do some changes so that it will be clear to you. So I hit an update. Since I am not making changes in the name of that contact, so it means that name will remain same and phone value will change. So let's come up here, see the logs. Okay, old contact name and old contact ID showing up here. Old contact. Oh, that's from the old contact name, old contact phone. It's showing up here, and then old contact ID. Oh, sorry, I haven't put. And you can see that it's new contact, but I forgot, didn't get the debug, proper debug, so it's not showing. Old, new.
You
Let's
didn't
put
change the
new.
contact, old contact to new contact. That's
What is? Yeah, only the debugs. That's right. The debug I haven't changed. So let's again make changes. I am changing it 33329999, and I hit the save. Now I come up here and yeah, that's from other this one. Old contact name, old contact phone, and new and sorry, old contact ID, name and phone, and then new contact ID. ID is same, new contact name is also same, but new contact phone is different. So we are seeing that phone number is getting different, and phone number is different. Yeah, phone number is different. So let's, okay, so since phone number is different, so we need to also check that. uh, if so, it means that that trigger.new also helped me that to capture the old phone. And we also seen that this new map and old map accept the ID of that record. Okay, accept the ID of the record. On the basis of the ID of the record, we can get the old or new values. So since trigger.new already contains the new values, it's the list of a new values, and in that trigger.new we have ID of that record. Means in trigger.new we have ID of record. So we can instead of we can just use that ID of record to get the old value. Let's take out the old value. I come up here and put paste it here. Let's take the old contact value. I can fetch out the old contact value by con dot id. Okay. Now con dot id will give me that old contact value. Uh, okay. Con dot id will means this will give me on the basis of a con dot id. I can get from the trigger dot old map. I can get the old contact values. Now I just need to check that if the phone number is also changing or no. Means if the phone number is changed or no, then our code will execute. So at the same moment, I'm checking that and I put the AND operator and check that our new phone is coming to that con dot phone number. And at the same moment, I need to check that if it is not equal to old dot phone, old contact dot. Okay, so it checks that means it checks that new and old phone values means it is a changing or no. Means when it's changing, then only it's run, else it will not run. So I'm changing it. Some means I'm checking that old phone. Let's put a new contact that will help you to understand more. New contact dot id. I will put the new contact id and get the new contact. Then checking the new contact's lead source and checking the new contact phone, and then new contact, and then add the new contact. Well, number 28. Oh, here. Now let's comment it out this thing. Now we don't need it. Right. So given this, let's have a look. We are making changes in phone. So I make changes in the phone and name so that you can see that what's the different, because I put the con first and last name, that's why I put it make changes. So I come up here, open the logs. So I can see that I got my new contact name and also I get the old contact name. And since I'm making the changes on the phone, so it's entered into that condition that hey, I need to check the phone. Else, let's I don't make the changes in the phone and I making changes in the home phone. I'm not making changes in the home phone. I'm not making changes in the phone. I'm just making changes in the home phone. So sorry, I had to cancel, I think, and hit save. So it got saved, and let's come up here and check. Yeah, you can see that that was not entered into that condition. So whenever we are working with the update trigger, we need to check the old and new value of that field on which we are working. We always need to check that old and new value of the field on which we are working. Yeah, always remember that whenever we are working on the update thing, so we need to focus on that, what the on which means whenever you got a requirement to update on the basis of update, then you have to ask that which field, on which field update we need to write a trigger. Means which field to update, means here on the phone field, we on the update of a phone field we need to write a trigger. Okay, yeah, you remember. Suppose there is a one more situation that how handle we can handle this situation. Suppose I write up here, yeah, now I change its value to referral, save it. Now again I change its value to empty. I thought it will be issue. Now let me again change its value to phone inquiry. That situation got handled. No, it's not. You can see that I'm able to make changes and it does not throw me any error. Yeah, this is also a case. Some your QA will come up and check that hey, it's also not working. When I do something like that, it doesn't throw me any error. So why this is happening? Because we haven't checked that this field lead source is also changing or no. Okay, we check that new phone contact is changing. Yeah, it's correct, it's changing and it's through an error. But if we haven't checked that it's also the lead source is changing or no. So for that, let's put in another condition that we need to check that if any of the field is got changed, we need to our condition will fire. So let's put an bracket here, something like that, and then any of the field means or condition. We write our condition and then so call contact documents. Now if someone come up and now let's check that it will ask an error. It's not. Let's make a phone inquiry. No, that was a bad data. That's why I need to handle that situation too. That was a bad data. That will become a bad data because since I'm not making any changes and I'm hitting the save, so it should throw an error and it's not throwing an error. It means that I need to check up here. So whenever phone inquiry and this one is blank. No, I think we need to put more conditions. Let's first check the lead source changes. as a kind of a bad data. And okay, that was now. If I update, let's throw in another. Now I fill the values. It's up to, and then I make changes to referral, and I come up here. I empty the field, and then again make it phone inquiry. Now it's throwing that error. Its phone inquiry is required. So that's the thing that we need to also check that whenever the phone is also lead source is also changing, then we have to check that trigger. Means our trigger will also need to work on that case too. Okay, so this is the way how we need to check that old and new values.
Sorry, do we need to check if it has been changed? Because we are only checking whenever it's new lead source is phone inquiry. So do we need to check?
Can we check?
Like,
yeah, do we need to check what is?
Like line 36, you say new contact list source is not equal old contact list source. In here we are looking if it is became phone inquiry, right? Like first, like line 35, we can also add inside of this one.
No, we don't have to add inside this one because it is an or condition. Means any of the field can check. And this is an important thing. So it must be in an and condition here.
I mean,
and this
like
is an or condition.
If it became phone inquiry, anyways, it's gonna check the result. Like
yeah. Similarly, you can see that one case it fails whenever we are changing the lead source and making the phone blank. So at that case, it fails. So that's why we need to put a condition that if the lead source is changing, then also it will check the phone number inquiry. Okay, so that is the about that thing. Means this is the how the system is working. Means how you need to do when we are working with the update trigger. Means you always have to check that before and old values and when on which field you are working. Okay, so this is the way how the things are working. Now, if we talk about the after update is also quite similar to that. There is nothing will change. Means in that case, we also need to check that before and after. Means in that case, we also need to check that before and after. Means sorry, old and new values. In that case, we also need to check that old and new values. And but the thing is that instead of making changes on the self record, we will make changes on the any other record. But the concept will remain same. Concept will always remain same for the update condition is that we need to check that what is the old and new value for any of the record. So any of the record which is comes into this trigger. So we need to check that if that record is changed or no. If it is not changed or it is changed for only that field on which we have to work or no. If it is only that field, then we need to then we have to run the trigger. Else we don't need to run the trigger. We just have to skip that part. Means just like that, we need to skip that part. Since it is a very small code, so it might be you are saying that it's a very small code. What is coming, but it's not a. It must be in a habit. Which right now it's a small code. Might be in a different situation. It will be a big code. So it will increase the CPU time and everything. So instead of doing that, just skip that part. Whenever we need to write, whenever the update needs to happen, then after there at that position it will be happen, else it will not. So it comes in a best practice that in the update case we need to check that old and new values. Means we can say that means we need to check the old and new values. Okay, so we need to check that that old and new values for the field somewhere.
Suraj. We don't write DML operations here, right?
Where? Here? We can
Yes.
write DML operation, just like yesterday we talked. Here is the DML operation. We can write the DML operation.
Okay.
No issue with that.
I mean, the code that we wrote.
Only the thing is that, yeah, and the code
that we wrote today.
In that we haven't written DML operation. We just adding the error. We haven't written.
But we are still working on the yesterday's code, right? Yesterday's trigger.
I'm a little bit confused about your question. Sorry,
today,
but
actually today we are working on update. So,
update, but yesterday we created new trigger for the phone query inquiry. Then today we are updating that trigger.
So we just using the previous code and try to do update and all operation with update. But means we just using that code.
Okay.
We just use the previous code and
we are not updating any existing trigger.
Yeah.
We are not updating any existing trigger because these triggers are already present. You can see that there's before insert, after insert, and before update. These are the 3 triggers on the contact. So we are using that trigger. We are not updating any trigger.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So best one more thing. There is a concept that tells that for any trigger, for any object, for any object, there will be only one trigger on it. Okay, that's a very important point. Since we have written on the contact object, if I go to the here, that's sorry, trigger. I can see there are 3 triggers are available up here. So it's not a best practices. So for any of the objects, for for any object, there will be only one trigger on it. So it means that we are not following the best practices while writing a trigger. So what we need to do, that we need to merge all these three trigger into a one trigger. Okay, so how we are going to do that? So first we need to deactivate this trigger, and after deactivating this trigger, I will create a new trigger. So let me deactivate this trigger. I open this trigger and hit edit, and deactivating the trigger means that this will not run. Yeah, this trigger will never run. If I deactivate any trigger, it will never. So I deactivate and save. Yeah, I hit again and deactivate that trigger and hit the save. Now these all three triggers get deactivated. Now our job is to make all these trigger into one trigger. So let's create a single trigger, a new fresh trigger, a single trigger. Close all let's close these tabs. Sorry, I think before update. No, it's not active. Okay, so I come up here. Now I need to write a new trigger. So let's add a trigger. And instead of writing here, I will write a contact trigger. And I write a hit submit. So it's create a contact trigger on the contact. Now, since we are writing a trigger on the before insert, and then we write a trigger then after insert, and when again write a trigger on before update, similarly we can insert write a trigger after update, before delete, after delete, and after undelete. These kind of things we can write, and we can create multiple triggers. But the best practices says that we don't have to write a trigger. Means we never have to. Where should the best practices go? Right. How that changed? Let me again add these things in this new trigger. Second. Folder new values for the fields on which third. Okay, there should be one trigger per object. So so we need to merge all this trigger into one instance. So what I have to do that, since it is running on the before, after, and before update. So I will write those instances here with a comma separated after insert, and then before update. Okay. First, we need to write all the instances as a comma separated in the single trigger, and then we need to check that here if trigger dot is before, else okay. So it means that in this case it will run all the before triggers, and in this case it will run all the after triggers. Before trigger means before insert, before update, before delete, yeah, and after triggers means after insert, after update, after delete, and after undelete. Okay. So now we come into a before trigger. Now it's, if it is the before trigger, then we have two or three instances, means before insert also, before update is there also, and before delete is also be available. So for that, first we need to check we are in before, then we again need to check that
is there any after update also as trigger?
yeah, after update, before in delete, before undelete, we, as you know that I have talked that we have 7 instances.
Okay.
Okay, before trigger dot is insert. Now it checks that before insert, it's checked trigger is before, and then it's checked it's inserted or not. Else we can also check that trigger dot is update. Okay, and similarly after trigger, after insert, and after update trigger. Okay, let's see and what is happening. So suppose I come up here and make
in line 8 we don't say after update. Is it a problem, or we can still use after update?
And why you are thinking it's a problem?
Line 8 inside of parentheses we don't put after update.
No, it's never be a problem. It means that it will not run.
But
this code will never execute since we haven't.
So to run, it should be.
It will not run because this case will false. If I don't add any instance here, then it means that it will not run. Means suppose I write after update and I check the logs, so it's not showing any after update. It's showing the before. We are in the before trigger and before update. Since I haven't added any after trigger, means there is no. I have updated the record, so and I added instance only for the before update, so it's showing the before instance. Since if I add that after instance, now it will show all those things. It will also show that before and after. You can see. Let's check if I make changes in the and hit the save. So let's check the logs. Debug only. So now you can see that first run the before trigger in the before trigger, then it goes into the before update, and then it will go to after trigger, and then it will show the after update trigger. Okay. So in this way, it's means if I add this instance, only then this code will run. If I don't add this instance, this trigger.isUpdate comes false and it will never run.
Yeah,
okay.
That was
In after case trigger, yeah, it will comes as a false and it will not run because I haven't added that instance up here. Okay, so this is the way that how we put all the triggers in a safe. Now I will, after that I will after the lunch I will show how we merge all the code into a same place. Let's take a break. After the break we will talk about that. Okay, let's have a break and come back and let's see that how we can merge all the triggers into the same code. Okay. Okay, have one. Now, since everyone is available, still in break or come back?
Here.
Okay.
Oh, me and you.
Okay. So now we are going to merge all those things into one trigger. So what we have done in the before trigger. Now before trigger, we write so many pieces of codes. Let's copy these one. And then contact trigger. In place of before insert, just paste it. Now what it's happened means if I paste that thing, it will work fine. No issue in this. It will behave as it is. What needs to be done means if we find the duplicate records, it will show the duplicate record. But the issue is that this code become much larger. Means it's making it's hard to identify that things. It's very hard to process that thing. So for that, instead of writing too many codes up here, everything up here, we will separate the logic at some other place. Means we will separate the logic in some other class and use that logic in the trigger. So there should be one trigger in a per object, but so how we handle that? We will separate the logic to handle by some other class. Okay, and that class is known as trigger handler. Trigger handler. So for that, we need to create a new trigger called trigger handler. Sorry, new class called trigger handler. So contact. Okay, I write a new class, contact trigger handler. Now in this class, we need to define a methods that which method will do which task, which method will do which task, something like that. So let's define a methods. Sorry. Handle before insert. So it's just the name of a method, nothing more, nothing less. And before insert, since we are handling before insert, and so that we will get trigger.new instance, means for that handling of before insert, as you know that, let's remove the code from here first. There's the before insert. In the before insert, you can see that our main focus is that we have to handle the trigger.new, and trigger.new is what is that? Trigger.new is the list of contacts. So when we are creating any Apex class as a handler, so we need to, since we need to write a trigger.new, means we need to work on the trigger.new. So, and trigger.new is a kind of a list of contacts. So first let's declare a list of contact. And it's equal to new contact list. Okay. Now it become a new contact list. And then I will come up here and check these two things. I will copy these two things, paste up here, and replace this trigger.new with a new contact list, and hit the save. Static, where is the static? STATIC static. Oh, sorry. Public. Okay, public static. Okay. Now again come up here, and I'm also doing these things. So I'm getting the existing contact, means since our these three this tasks means we are taking a set of emails and phone, and then we are doing these three tasks. First we are calculating the existing contact and getting the map of that our key value and existing contact. Yeah, so let's create a method and put that thing in a particular job. Means now we are just defining a methods that will do that particular job. So let's define a method, private static and return type will be this one. Let get contact by email, phone email. I'm writing just name. Okay, and in that, what should be the logic? This is one with the logic, so I will copy and copy from here and paste it here. I don't need this, so and then return it. Contact by phone, this one. And this requires the phone and email as a set that need to be added. So let's make it as a parameters. Okay, now it's got saved. Now this method will, what will do that? This method will just okay. Now this will do that thing. Now we have one more thing that will updating the instances. So here it is, and copy that thing. Here handler. What is check duplicates? Yeah, check. And that duplicates, it's checking by trigger.new. It means that we need the list of contact list. Then we have this one, contact phone email. So let's where is that contact phone email? It means that it's something this one. At line number 35, contact trigger repair. Okay, now it's processed. Now it's once our logic is complete. Now we need to merge all the logic together. So it's I come up here and I will check just like I'm checking up here. Here, where is that? If the phone, email, or phone sizes have some value, then it will first it will get the contact by phone name. And it will accept the two parameters, which is our phones and emails. So I will adding that phone, comma, emails. Okay, I got that contact by phone name, and then I will do the check duplicates. So I will copy that, and then I will check duplicates. And for checking the duplicates, and what I need to do that, I need to just pass that trigger.new instance, which is this one, and then our map, and then that's it. It will process what it will do, what needs to be done. So it will do that. Now I just need to check. I need to call this method inside my trigger. So let me remove this all code. Instead of writing this many of code, I will write system. Sorry, what is that trigger? Contact trigger handler dot handle on before, and then in that way, in that instant, I will pass trigger dot new, and it will perform the activities that it needs to be performed. It will do that what it needs to be do, means in case of insert, it will check that if its phone number is blank, and if phone number is blank and selected as a phone inquiry, then it will throw error. What happens? Oh, sorry, it's checking duplicates, not throwing error. Sorry, checking the duplicates on the basis of phone and email. Yeah, this one. Sync to. Let's clone the record so that. And when I hit the save, it's showing me that our duplicate record, John Albert, is already present. Even I change the name, it doesn't matter. If phone number and email got matched, and then it's showing me a duplicate record, just like we just like we discussed earlier in the yesterday class, that it will find the duplicate records and show me the error. Okay. Now we can merge the one more thing. We can merge the after trigger. For after trigger, the same thing we need to do that. We need to declare a new method called handle before. Instead of handle before, let's like handle after insert. So that method must be a meaningful name. That's why. So it will also accept just like the after insert, and our job is the same. We need to, it's quite simple. There is no need to, I will just copy up here and paste dot here. Since it's creating this task, so let's create a method. And it will take contact object. And return this. Okay, and then copy this one. And okay, so I will pass that instance, and get new task. What it will do that it will create a new task instance and put that instance into our, and whenever the instance completed, line number 22. Oh, sorry, it should be this one. So whenever the instance means I will pass the instance completed, it will be added to task list. And when I hit and once if it is found that task is some element in the task, it will get inserted. So that's the thing. No issue in that. It will do the same thing. Similarly, what we can do that we can write the before update. Okay. So in the before update, we have this one. Let's copy and paste it here. New contact list. I paste trigger dot instead of new contact list. I will paste this, and then we have also trigger dot old map. So it's a kind of a map. So let's put a map ID comma contact old contact map. So instead of trigger dot old, I will write old contact map. To save. It's got saved. Now I just need to call these two methods in my trigger. So after insert, and before update. Contact trigger handler dot before update, and in this we need to pass trigger dot new for as a new instance and trigger dot old map, so that it will get the old value on the basis of ID, and that's it. So what it will do that it help us to first it help us to means this approach means whenever we write a trigger, one trigger means first it will help us to our best follow the best practices that whenever there should be only a single trigger per object, means there will be only one trigger per object, and in that trigger you can call any methods that method can be at any place. So that trigger we can call an any method, but here since I come up here and we for any trigger there must be a handler. That handler contains all the logical part of that trigger what it should be to. So in that handler we just pass the values that it's required to call the method. Means if it is a before insert means it's just the name of a method. You can write the name anything, just like instead of writing before insert you can write the anything insert before or something like that. Means you can just make it meaningful name so that anyone can understand, but just write the method and then call that method in our class in this trigger call the method in a trigger and write all the logic in the trigger. And also at the same moment also just separate your logic. Means whatever the task created by whatever the task or job that need to be performed, just divide that job to a simpler steps. Just like that I had just divide the jobs that this one do only that thing. It will process the on the basis of phone and email. It will process the record and get me the for existing values, existing records details. So that thing, and this method's job is to just take the new list and old. What is showing me sign in? Are you guys audible to me?